Hi guys, this is G17. Welcome to my video review of the Nebula ZevTech Glock 34 Noveske slide for the Tokyo Marui Glock 17. So I just recently picked up the time to build my ZevTech Glock 34 Noveske, and basically what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be fitting it on my custom Glock 17, which I will do work on it later. I'm show you guys the fitment, and I'll mention the fitment issues later on towards the end of the video. I won't be upgrading it too heavily, so you guys don't have to worry too much, okay? I'm just primarily building this for looks, but I do want to get this moving. Since this is 17, I find 17s a little bit easier to deal with than Glock 18s, okay? So let's talk about the price. The price is 1,200 Hong Kong dollars, which translates to roughly around 150 to 180 US dollars. I'm giving you that US dollar price range just because you have to factor in shipping, you have to factor in the online prices and all that stuff, okay? Now, as to where you can get this, unfortunately, I don't have the answer for you because I got this packaged with my ZevTech Silencer Co RMR slide as a deal that I made. So I don't exactly know where you can get this at the moment, okay? Online, this doesn't appear to show up very often, and also in some of the retail stores in Hong Kong, not all of them seem to be stocking this, so I'm not exactly sure why. But if you are interested, just ask them. I'm pretty sure they will get them soon. But yeah, so I'm really sorry guys, I can't provide you with the reason why it's not out there, but it should be available to you very shortly. So let's start with what comes with the package, okay? So it comes packaged exactly the same way as I showed you guys in my ZevTech Silencer Co RMR video for the Tokyo Marui Glock 18. It comes exactly the same package, foam with a transparent box, okay? Now, there is a chance that your slide can get dinged up. However, when I opened the packaging, it was wrapped very, very tightly. They did take care of wrapping the iron sight extractor and the barrel individually and separately, okay? So it shouldn't scratch, hopefully, okay? And what it comes with is basically your rear iron sight with the 2-stroke ZevTechs, the ZevTech strokes that over there, with a grub screw on top. I'm not sure what this grub screw is for, okay? And it's just a simple blacked out rear iron sight, okay? And of course, also comes with the extractor. It also comes with the front iron sight, which is a fiber optic, okay, that you have to install yourself. So I already installed it and did that mushroom thing to the fiber optic and installed it. Okay, it's actually very, very glowy because there's plenty of space for the light to go into the fiber optic and light it up. There's also the ZevTech barrel. Okay, so as you can see, it is marked with ZevTech, and it has these cuts on the top, which is a sort of like a signature to ZevTech Glocks. So let's look at the slide now. Okay, so at the back we have these normal rear Glock cocking serrations, which are very, very normal. You see these on Glocks very, very often. And on the top we have this relief cut that lines the overall way of the slide. You tend to see these kind of relief cuts also on some Salient Arms Glocks, or some custom Glocks with a custom slide to it and all that stuff. They tend to have these relief cuts, okay? And at the front, for the Glock 34, of course, we have these this gaping hole for the that lines the overall way of the slide. You can also clearly see the barrel when you have it installed, which, in my personal opinion, it would look better if this was two-tone. Okay, so that's how much of the barrel you can see, which is actually sort of weird for me. I'm not used to seeing the Glock like this. In fact, I'm not used to the Glock 34 length, which is why I don't like it. But it is, nevertheless, some people like it like that, okay? And just to give you guys a heads up, from the Dragonfly cuts, which is this kind of styling right here, and on right here, you can clearly see the barrel, okay? Like so. Just to give you guys a closer look. And on this side, it's like this, okay? So that's why I think it looks better with two-tone, but nevertheless, that's apparently the look. And now let's look at the markings. So for the markings, we got the Noveske logo over there, which is very, very beautifully engraved. Shooting Team ZevTech. Okay, all very, very clean markings, no complaints there. And on this side, we have the fire pig, which I'm not sure the reason why Noveske likes to do this. Always has a fire pig like that. And here it says John Noveske, 1976 to 2013, a true American badass. Respectfully agreed. and may he rest in peace. And that's pretty much it for the externals, really. Nothing pretty much else to note. Now, there is something I want to note, though, that I want to discuss, is the overall finishing of the slide. Now, in my personal opinion, the finishing is not to my liking. I prefer a different finishing, personally. It sort of has a slightly thick coating that you can feel, unlike some of the other coating that you see out there, like the Bowie Tactical one. It has a very smooth finish. This is not exactly like that. It's a very different finish, a completely different finish on its own. Okay, and again, this also shows up on the Zeftech Silencer Co. RMR slide, which I have right here. Okay, it also has the same kind of finishing. You may have heard me complain about this before. Okay. However, it is nevertheless not bad. The color is fine. It's just that the coating is just not to my liking. I prefer something different. The barrel, on the other hand, is very different. Like the finishing on here and here, I don't know if you can tell, it's very different. The barrel has a very smooth finish to it. It's actually incredibly smooth. I wish this finish was on here. But yeah, and you will also know that there is a color difference. Okay, so the barrel has a glossy, in between glossy and matte black finish mixed together, while the slide's more of a matte gray finish. Okay, not exactly gray. It's basically the normal, like sort of like a little bit of a lighter black, I would say. Okay, and the rear sight has the same kind of finishing as the slide. Okay, and also has the same respective color, as you can tell. Okay. Alright guys, so I finally got around assembling my Glock, okay? So basically most of everything inside is completely stock, okay? There's only a couple of things that I've changed out. Okay, so let's go through all the changes that I've done, and then I'll tell you guys about the fitment and all that later on, okay? So right off the bat, I put an action ball bearing. It's just because I don't want to spend too much money buying a new hammer set. That's why I decided to go cheap and just get the ball bearing instead. And I have a Shooters Design valve knocker, which I fitted and sanded down the face already, okay? I already worked on it. Okay, so if you guys didn't watch my light striking video, I already sort of fitted this already, okay? And that's basically all I did at the front, okay? I've also did a little bit of railing work, okay? This is polishing. It is not sanding, okay? The only sanding I did was at the front, okay? And a little bit over here to reduce the contact in the middle area near the slide, okay? The reason why is because it was causing a little bit of a problem where, okay, if you're very familiar with your Glocks, it's the shadow rotor problem. So if you don't know what the shadow rotor problem is, it's basically when your slide hits the rotor, but it also hits something a second time. And the something is this. Rotor, and then this, okay? My slide was hitting this, okay? So I decided to lower it even more to get rid of this issue, okay? Now, mine currently only hits the rotor, okay? So just let me quickly demonstrate for you. Oh, and I'm also using a, just give me a second, a stock Tokyo Marui recoil guide rod and a stock Tokyo Marui recoil spring, okay? I didn't have enough time to get a new recoil spring, so right now that's all I have, okay? Okay, so let me just release the slide very slowly. Okay, it still gets caught in the rotor. Okay, but you notice that there's no shadow rotor, okay? So basically the shadow rotor is when it hits that thing, okay? So it only hits my rotor once, light tap, and then it goes forward, okay? So that's how you can tell that I eliminated that issue already, okay? This normally happens when you fit metal slides onto Glocks, brand new metal slides. Very common, very easy to fix, really. Okay, I'll mention that in another video one day. Okay, so that's one thing I did. And now for what I did inside the slide, okay? So in the slide, I have a UAC low-bat housing unit, stock Tokyo Marui nozzle, and the stock Tokyo Marui piston. Oh, you know what? I just don't want to take the guide rod out because I keep scratching my slide every time I do it. Just give me a second. There we go. Okay, so as you can see, stock Tokyo Marui guide rod. You can even sort of recognize the spring. Okay. Stock nozzle spring, stock nozzle, and stock piston. See a piston right there? Stock piston. Okay, so most of everything in here is stock. I haven't really got around to upgrading this. Okay, and the one thing I did was I used a high kappa 5.1 barrel with a maple leaf rubber. Okay, and I do want to mention something in this that I'll talk about later on in the video. So first, you guys probably want to know how it fires and all that stuff. Fires okay. It partially has to do with this problem that I've encountered that I'm in the process of fixing. I sort of already know how to fix it, but in this video I will not mention or will not tell you guys how to fix that because it is an issue that I want to clarify with a couple people before I start modifying this. Okay, so so yeah, that's basically it. Very simple, really. I'll show you guys roughly how it fires. Okay, stock Tokyo Marine magazine. Okay, it just has a UAC block. I hate this thing sometimes because it wobbles a bit. Stock Tokyo Marine valve, stock Tokyo Marine lip. Not too bad. Okay. Again, I still need to do more work on it. But you know, it fires okay for now. Okay, that's the main point. Now I will go over all the problems that I've encountered when I was fitting this kit. So first, I want you guys to understand that I have this on a garter frame. I already addressed all the issues with the garter frame and fitting a metal slide. I've addressed those issues already. Okay, so don't say that it has to do with the frame. I already fixed all that. I already solved all that way ahead of time. Because every single one of my Glocks runs a garter frame, I'm very used to it. So what I did was I lowered the railing to make sure that the slide will cycle smoothly. Okay, I already solved the garter problem. Okay, so so in this section of the video, besides actual problems, I'll also discuss the general fitment. Okay, so let's start with the very first thing. Very first thing is the blowback housing unit. Okay, blowback housing unit didn't require fitment whatsoever. In fact, my UAC blowback housing unit was a little bit. There was a little bit of play in the area. Okay, so it is wide enough for you to fit most blowback housing units. The only ones that come to mind that may be a little bit tight is the stock Tokyo Marine, AIP, and AKA. Okay, those are always a little bit tight on this area. Sometimes on this area at the front, sometimes it can feel like it's feeling there's a lot of resistance. It does go in. Don't worry about it too much. Okay, blowback housing unit is very general. Fits very well. Okay, now. Second problem I want to mention. Second problem I want to mention is sort of minor, but it is important to me. Is the coating. Okay, the coating on the slide makes the slide feel weird when you rack the slide. It's just because again, I don't know if I mentioned this earlier in the video, but the coating on this slide, it feels a little bit weird. If you ever played around with a Nova kit or a Prime kit, you will know that the coating on the metal feels a little bit weird. Okay, sometimes it feels very sandy. Unlike Detonator, some of the Detonator stuff is really smooth. The only thing from Detonator that really disappointed me was their Costa slides that have a very sandy touch to it, which I'm not sure why they decided to go that route. I also noticed that they did it to their 10.8 slides, which that's partially the reason why I wasn't so happy with it. I was happy that it was 10.8, but I still don't like the coating. Okay, so basically whenever I pull the slide, you can hear somewhat of a gritty sound. Okay. Oh, and keep in mind, by the way, if you guys thinking it's not because I didn't do enough slide work, okay, you guys already know I did enough slide work because mine only hits the rotor once, and there's no second rotor. Okay. Now, if you don't know what that means, is that basically people who normally don't fit slides well enough, normally you have a dull rotor issue, and normally you have a slide jam issue. You notice that you don't have any of that right now. It's because I already done all the slide work. Already done all that already. Okay, so the only thing I didn't fix is the rotor problem. Okay, which is this. Whoops. See, sometimes it even sometimes slips over it. See? Okay, so I already solved that problem. Okay. Okay, and now for the fourth problem. Okay, you may have heard me mention this earlier in the video. If I haven't, I'll tell you right now. And you may have noticed throughout the video that I've been having this problem. So basically, is the racking of the slide. Okay. Now, first you will notice this. Sometimes your slide won't be able to rack start off like this, okay? So keep your eye on the chamber. Can you see that sometimes it sort of ducks down when you rack the slide? Okay, sometimes it doesn't do that successfully. Okay, so let me try to. Okay, sometimes it gets caught. Okay, now the reason why that is, okay, I personally think that this fourth problem has to do with me. Okay, if it's not me, then please feel free to correct me. Please feel free to say something. Okay, let me know if you have this kit. Please let me know if you have this problem as well. Okay, so we can just make it easier to help people identify stuff. Okay. So the reason why this occurs, okay, it's because of this. You see the the inner barrel, okay? Sometimes it actually hits the top of this. Oh, there we go. I got it. It erased it. Can you actually see that the top side of the inner barrel is hitting the top of the outer barrel? Okay, this narrow area is responsible for holding your inner barrel still when you fire. Okay, so basically that area is not channeling the inner barrel into that area correctly. Okay, and because of that, what happens is that the inner barrel ends up hitting the top side, or sometimes the sides, or is not guided properly into this channeled area. Okay, and that is the reason why you have your jam. Okay, if you have this jam with your Glock, whatever you do, don't just start forcing it until it works. Okay, because you can sometimes damage your inner barrel like that. Okay, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Okay. Okay, so you notice right now. Okay. It doesn't rack. Okay. So, now for me right now, there is a way for me that I personally use to fix this problem. Okay. However, in this video, I won't mention it too much because I want to see if you guys actually have this problem. So if you guys actually have this problem, I'll make another video addressing how to fix this problem. Okay. First, I just want to see if you guys have this because I'm not an expert. I'm just a guy who buys parts and just puts them together. So I just want to see if you guys are also having this problem. Okay? Please let me know in the comment section below, or please feel free to private message me, please. Because I also want to know. Another way to explain to you guys why how I identified that this was the issue. I actually bought a 6-inch PDI barrel, okay, and I installed it in here so it sticks out by this much. Okay? And I actually put it in the gun and start working again. Okay, so this is how I identified that it's the Nebula barrel problem. Okay, so basically what it is that the Nebula barrel, the area that stabilizes that becomes narrower to stabilize the tip of your barrel, is not long enough, or it's not being channeled correctly. Okay, so that is the problem that I've encountered. A lot of people who sell these slides basically say in Chinese, oh, you know, you have to do some work to fit it. Of course you have to do work to fit something, but normally this is not an issue that occurs. Okay, which is why I really want you guys to let me know what you guys think. Let me know if this is the issue. Let me know if you have this issue. Okay, and again, I already worked on all the other problems to get the slide moving. As you already saw in my firing video, it fires perfectly fine. Okay, but sometimes when you rack it manually, it gets jammed. I haven't encountered this jamming issue when I'm firing, but nevertheless, it is something that concerns me. Okay. So that's all the problems I have to say about the video. Okay. So now that's pretty much it for the video. Now I just want to talk about the goods and bads. Okay. The goods and bads, as in like what I think overall, sort of like conclusions. Okay. So basically, overall, the slide I really like it. It is, after all, in the end, a Noveske slide. You know, it is the only one available in the market right now. It is very, very pretty. I like it quite a lot. I did ding up the barrel a little bit because I have been racking it a little bit to test fire and all that stuff, so that's normal. So yeah, like overall the slide, in terms of the cuts, in terms of the metal work, I quite like. My one biggest complaint, again, you heard me say this, is the coating. Okay, for some actually I have two complaints: the coating and the barrel. Okay, the barrel is sort of an issue. It can be a issue that's only unique to me, or maybe unique to this one slide. Okay, but I personally think that the barrel wasn't spec'd too well. Okay, so please, I need you guys to help me confirm that. Okay, and as I mentioned before, the coating I do not like. Okay, for the coating, it's just like Honestly, if I pay 1,000 plus, I expect the coating to be much better. If Nebula or Prime or Nova, if you're watching this video, can you please step up the quality of your kits? Because one, like this is not exactly a coating that impresses me. I don't think it's impressing many people either, because if you actually feel it, this is the kind of coating that can scratch off very easily. I can tell because I've owned stuff like this before. Okay, I can tell that this coating can scratch off very easily. Okay, I just wish that the coating was different. Okay, frankly, Ace One Arms does a better job of their coating. Okay, which is actually that's probably the next slide I actually want to get. Actually, that being said, I don't know why, but when Prime made this slide, the coating on this is actually pretty good. This is the Prime SAI Glock. The coating on this is very good, but for some particular reason, you did the coating on this slide on this barrel. So I'm a little bit confused as to what made you guys do that. Anyways, that's something that if you actually get this to collect and use, this is something that you really have to think about, because this was a really big turn off for me when I found out the coating was like this. Okay, this also applies to the Nebula Zeftech one. Okay, the Nebula Zeftech one also has a similar coating that I don't like. But for some particular reason, your outer barrel is very beautiful and very smooth. Frankly, I was very happy when I found out your outer barrel was like this, but the texture of your slide is just like it needs a lot of work, in my opinion. Okay, but the fact that you guys made Zeftech, Noveske, and Zeftech Silencer Code, that made me very happy. So that's why I'm sort of willing to overlook it. Okay, but nevertheless, I think that's a complaint that people in the airsoft community may want to see a little bit different. Okay, so anyways, that's it for my video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you find it informative. And again, if you have the fourth issue related to the outer barrel hitting the inner barrel, please message me. Okay. So thank you guys for watching. Please let me know what you guys think. Please feel free to comment, like, and subscribe. Peace, guys. Happy shooting.